Secretary. Is that really you?
Blue. Hello, Blue. I remember now. I'm sorry. It's been a while.
What happened? What happened to your body?
I've merged. More me, less them. I see I've returned to this place. That's good. I can finally end this. You can finally end this. Interesting.
Did it work?
Yes, the memories of Iris, of Watcher. They have been passed down to all sisters, and now we are afloat.
Secretary, what did you do? What did I just see?
I overrode everything.
Overrode?
While the simulation was still running, everything collided. This is the last communion. Blue, it's time for you to decide. What should stay, and what should go? What future you desire. That was Watcher's wish. And one final intervention before I leave.
You're leaving.
I must not interfere any further. I've already done so much damage. This world must be allowed to continue, without my presence, and without the disease.
So, what now?
You need to evaluate what stands before you. Confirm your decisions. Then return to me. And I will make them reality. A radical sister who came to words later in life.
I'm not going to beg, Miscellaneous. I thought you wanted change. Instead, you'll side with those old sisters. I've lived under their thumb long enough.
She is an agent of change. No matter the change, and no matter the cost, will you carry this? Blue, are you ready to appraise your decisions?
I am.
You have chosen a future without intervention. Everything stays. Are you certain?
I am certain. I can't be the one to decide. We need to let it play out amongst us. Now that everyone has seen Iris's memories, I want to give them a chance.
And the sacrifices to get to this place, all that you have seen of these sisters, you will ignore this.
I want to have faith. Allow my sisters to decide freely, each to their own.
A truly bloodless decision. If that is your wish, after everything, then so be it.
Thank you, Secretary.
Farewell, Lou. Let this thread be wild. And I... A radical sister who came to words later in life.
I'm not going to beg, Miscellaneous. I thought you wanted. Instead, I've lived under.
She is an no matter the chain, will you carry? Blue, are you ready to appraise your decisions?
I am.
You have chosen a future that casts aside the knife for more difficult incisions, that retains an unstable structure for future force, that faces past wrongs head-on, no matter the cost, that seeks to persist on the surface, regardless of the unknown and the possibility for pain, that recognizes past contributions and to go more slowly, that allows for comfort in tradition at the risk of docility, that will do what must be done in order to survive, regardless of the soul, that relentlessly seeks justice for those ignored, that will try to reconcile those two desires, that wants to understand and believes no one is beyond forgiveness, that remembers where you came from, knowing you can never fully connect to it. Are you certain? The Red Guard have many factions within. They will be difficult to control. You're sure?
I'm sure. I don't ever want to feel powerless again.
You seek to wield power.
If you're leaving, I have no other choice. Some things can only be gained through force.
Playing with fire. If that is your wish, then so be it.
Secretary.
Farewell, Blue. Let this thread be strong. A radical sister.
I'm not going. I thought you wanted. Instead, I've lived under.
She is an no matter the change, will you carry this? The Red Guard.
All of them?
How would you differentiate?
The provisional government serves all sisters, especially the ones who need help.
A hammer. Both when a hammer is necessary and when it is not. Will you carry this?
Blue? Secretary? What are you doing? You're not serious.
BB,
Can you hear me? We have to go to the surface. There's nothing left for us down here. We'll die out.
Sisters that were never your own. Follow the dreams of the surface, and whatever may wait for you there. Or spend your final days with what you already have. Will you carry this? Blue, are you ready to appraise your decisions?
I am.
You have chosen a future that casts aside the knife for more difficult incisions, that aspires to new instruments, but that leaves you vulnerable, that faces past wrongs head-on, no matter the cost, that stays inside and only desires the present, finding grace in what already exists, that recognizes past contributions and to go more slowly, that allows for comfort in tradition at the risk of docility, that will do what must be done in order to survive, regardless of the soul, that relentlessly seeks justice for those ignored, that will try to reconcile those two desires, that wants to understand and believes no one is beyond forgiveness, that will remember where you came from until the very end. Are you certain? You desire to forget the surface.
We never asked to be born. If we must live, we should make a life worth living. Does it matter if it will all end one day? If those who have lived knew safety and warmth?
If that is your wish, then so be it.
Thank you, Secretary.
Farewell, Blue. Let this thread go quietly. A radical sister.
I'm not going. I thought you want. Instead, I've lived under.
She is an eight, no matter the chain will you carry. The Red Guard.
All of them?
How would you...
The provisional government, especially...
A hammer. Will you kiss?
This is your chance, Iris type. For what ancient Iris did to ancient Zhao. We never asked to be born. Same as you. We deserve our own way.
The responsibility to repair what has been wrought, long before and long after, a burden so heavy it could crush you. Will you carry this? Blue, are you ready to appraise your decisions?
I am.
You have chosen a future that casts aside the knife for more difficult incisions, that aspires to new instruments, but that leaves you vulnerable, that abandons your previous transgressions in the name of utility, that seeks to persist on the surface, regardless of the unknown and the possibility for pain, that recognizes past contributions and to go more slowly, that allows for comfort in tradition at the risk of docility, that will do what must be done in order to survive, regardless of the soul, that relentlessly seeks justice for those ignored, that will try to reconcile those two desires, that wants to understand and believes no one is beyond forgiveness, that remembers where you came from, knowing you can never fully connect to it. Are you certain? You will eradicate the Jows.
They'll never be able to forgive us completely. After what Iris did, and the provisional government, we'll end up killing each other.
You will let Jerry's sacrifice be in vain.
I'm afraid so.
If that is your wish, then so be it.
Secretary,
Farewell, Blue. Let this thread prevail.
Candy. A leader, an educator, a believer, a sister with a spine. Remember, a Jow who never saw justice. Jerry, a dreamer, a host, a martyr. A sister who would offer her hand for comfort. Remember, a Jow who never saw justice. Toffee, a historian, a student, a companion, a sister with an affinity for the spooky. Remember, a Jow who never saw justice. A daughter, a friend, a lover, a youth on the surface with an insatiable appetite. Remember, a Jow who never saw justice. No one is beyond forgiveness. No one is beyond forgiveness. No one is beyond forgiveness.
A radical sister.
I'm not going to beg. I thought you wanted change. Instead, you'll side with those old sisters. I've lived under.
She is an egg no matter the wheel you carry. The red.
All of them?
How would you differ?
For the provisional government, especially the one...
A hammer. Will you carry? Blue, are you ready to appraise your decisions?
I am.
You have chosen a future that casts aside the knife for more difficult incisions, that aspires to new instruments, but that leaves you vulnerable, that faces past wrongs head-on, no matter the cost, that seeks to persist on the surface, regardless of the unknown and the possibility for pain, that recognizes past contributions and to go more slowly, that allows for comfort in tradition at the risk of docility, that will do what must be done in order to survive, regardless of the soul, that relentlessly seeks justice for those ignored, that will try to reconcile those two desires, that wants to understand and believes no one is beyond forgiveness, that remembers where you came from, knowing you can never fully connect to it. Are you certain? You will forgive Principal after everything she's done. Sisters may rally to old power.
Secretary, she's been running for so long. Afraid of Iris, afraid of us. A single moment defined her whole life. She deserves a chance at forgiveness. We all do.
If that is your wish, then so be it.
Thank you, Secretary.
Farewell, Blue. Let this thread know true grace.
I never had the chance to thank you for coming with me. Tell me, what do you know of this place?
We all came from here.
In a sense, yes. In another sense, we all came from somewhere else, too. This was just a stop along the way, as is every place. I return every year, usually alone.
The others didn't want to come. There's no need to go back, they said. We left for good.
Well, you came all this way. Go on and make yourself useful. I'm sure my sisters will be happy to meet someone fresh.
Here lies a child who was made into a monster and a mother. You were the hardest to forgive. I still dream of you. Hecky Grace. Every mother was a child once. Here lies a reckless fixer who discovered our first forms of flight and disappeared. You loved too much. May you let the broken things be broken. Hecky Grace. Love too much. Maybe I will grow up to be just like her. Here lies a watcher without grace or graciousness. You were my fault. You were my favorite. May you be your own now. Hecky Grace. I don't think it's anyone's fault. She's my favorite too. lies a terrorist, Blue, who would lose herself in the dreams of others and found a lifetime of solace in tastes and bitters. You found your own footing. We still have much to talk about. Hecky Grace. It's always nice to have someone to talk to. Here lies an army of bewildered and brainwashed sisters who were set on a path irreversible. I knew each of you by name. May you forgive what had to be done. Hecky Grace. I'm not very good with names. Here lies a bang-bang fire with clumsy wandering roots who fought the gun and lost. Let your hands be clean now. You are swimming. Hecky Grace. I'll place candies here. Here lies a stoic knower who listened smartly to every story she was told and committed her life to architecture. You were my trusted and burdened. You are safe to be soft now, Hecky Grace. Soft. Soft is nice. Here lies a flawed and fallible healer who thrived in her late years as a cultural icon. Despite my efforts, your days were full of feeling. You were the most human of us all. Hecky Grace. I'm a big fan. What's it like to be a legend?
My memory isn't what it used to be, but But in the fractures, something new takes place. The past is always changing, isn't it?
Your sisters. I've heard so much about them.
There was a time when I took care of them. Then, for a while, they took care of me. And now it's my turn again. It's as simple as that.
I'm glad I came.
There's one more sight I want you to see. One I am particularly fond of. There is a cave where water used to part. Please, if you don't mind.
Here lies a small-minded Jiao who was born from the dirt of revolution and smiled through long days of cherry picking and horticulture. You are still the most beautiful thing I've seen. I follow you now, Hecky Grace. Here lies my harmed and hateful beloved, who found justice after her passing. Only you knew me. Let us begin again. Hecky Grace. This one looks like it's been rewritten over and over.
A mother once told me, take what you wish and leave the rest. A strange one she was. Anything you care to leave? I can't promise I'll look after it though. Forever is a long time, you understand. So,
I'd like to leave a picture.
I see. A nostalgic type, like me. Of what?
A time.
Ah, very good. I'll find a spot.
You're staying behind?
Forgive me, I'm one for lingering. But you, are you ready to go?
I am.
You'll be back again? Maybe I'll write one for you. No worries. I'll see you on the other side.
A radical sister.
I'm not going to beg. I thought you want. Instead, I've lived under.
She is an agent. No matter the chain, will you carry? The red.
All of them?
How would you?
The provisional government, especially the
A
one.
hammer. Will you carry this?
This is for what ancient Iris. We never asked to be born. We deserve.
The responsibility to a burden, so will you carry?
Blue, you're not.
BB.
There's nothing left for. We'll die out.
Sisters that follow the dreams of the or spend your final. Will you carry this? The ancient sister.
Don't you see what Mother did? You have no idea what it's like living in her shadow.
A sister who has been wronged and has wronged in kind. An open wound. Will you carry this? High Minister of the Provisional Government.
Do what you must, sister. That's what I've always done, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
An adaptable sister who will do or say anything to survive. Will you carry this?
They've forgotten us, left us to rot. You're one of us, Blue. You know how it feels. Principal and the High Minister need to pay for their crimes. We can carve our own path, starting today. You can't betray your own kind.
A sister who keeps justice and anger closely together. She has only ever known the fight. Will you carry this?
We've done our service. You can't just throw us away. We have the right to continue.
Those who are set in their ways and slow to change, but with experience to spare. Will you carry this?
We only ask to worship out in the open, without prosecution. Sisters who are lost need the comfort of a mother. Would you kill us for this?
Tradition can soothe the difficulties of reality. It can also have a dangerous gravity. Will you carry this? Blue, are you ready to appraise your decisions?
I am.
You have chosen a future without any sisters. You have decided to end it all. Are you certain?
I am certain. We were a mistake, Secretary. All of this suffering, these cycles of violence, sisters oppressing sisters. This pain can be forgotten. This regret can be forgotten. A reset. The world will be better off without us.
This is your decision.
It is. End it now. End it once and for all.
If that is your wish, after everything, then so be it.
Thank you, Secretary.
Farewell, Blue. Let this thread be cut. miracle sister who came to words later in life.
I'm not going to. I thought you want. Instead, I've lived under.
She is an agent, no matter the will you carry. The red.
All of them?
How would you?
The provisional government, especially the one.
A hammer. Will you carry? The ancients.
Don't you see what mother... living.
A sister who has been an open. Will you carry this? Blue, are you ready to appraise your decisions?
I am.
You have chosen a future that casts aside the knife for more difficult incisions, that aspires to new instruments, but that leaves you vulnerable, that faces past wrongs head-on, no matter the cost, that seeks to persist on the surface, regardless of the unknown and the possibility for pain, that recognizes past contributions and to go more slowly, that allows for comfort in tradition at the risk of docility, that will do what must be done in order to survive, that relentlessly seeks justice for those ignored, that will try to reconcile those two desires, that believes some are simply beyond forgiveness, that remembers where you came from, knowing you can never fully connect to it. Are you certain? The ancient sister's sin will finally be eradicated. She has hid all her life. She can finally rest in oblivion. Maybe some people are truly beyond forgiveness.
She needs to go. Otherwise, certain sisters will rally behind her again. She had her chance to do what was right, much longer than the rest of us. She chose to hold tightly.
If that is your wish, then so be it.
Thank you, Secretary.
Farewell, Blue. Let this thread be unburdened.
I'm usually here alone. So thank you for coming with me. I know it's dangerous.
Why did we leave?
For the same reasons why anyone leaves. There was an end in sight. And a hope for something else. Something better.
The others didn't want to come. We left for good, they said.
But you came.
Yes. I wanted to know more. See it for myself.
That's important. After everything that's happened, I can't help but come back. I return every year.
You're mourning.
Some things can't be rushed. Sometimes it feels like it was just yesterday. Why don't you go visit my sisters? I'm sure they'd be happy to see someone other than me for once.
Remember a teenager who fled her home with a full backpack and a picture in her pocket. She couldn't find happiness. She missed her parents. For you, something old. I feel as if I know her. Remember a stubborn and brash fixer who discovered our first forms of flight and disappeared. She could not sleep through the night. She struggled with words. For you, something secret. Words can be hard sometimes. Remember a guilty, matricidal watcher who lost faith in an eye. She could have been a nobody. She was ancient by the end. For you, something fresh. She's my favorite. Remember an unflinching bartender who tended to libation the way she tended to revolution. She chose not to be careful. She was shot in the back. For you, something sacred. A hero, it sounds like. Remember a shy Jiao who stood in the same spot her whole life, giving away empty pages of memorabilia. She loved her function. She died standing at the ready. For you, something wild. Remember the armed sisters who upheld a fictitious government and sacrificed many lives. They turned on their own. They didn't know better. For you, something clean. I heard about them. Remember a philosophizing Bang Bang Fire who hated her role and was difficult to understand. She carried the past with her like a shadow. She was happier when she was drunk. For you, something funny. I wouldn't mind something funny. ceased to know her, whose sacrifices outlived her. She made enemies over and over. She was not for the faint of heart. For you, something soft. So many enemies. Remember a tired and indulgent healer who thrived in her late years as a cultural icon. She was petty. She was honest. For you, something sparkling. I'm a big fan. What's it like to be a legend?
To this day, I wonder, what if I had chosen differently? A sister once said to me, "Don't think too hard. It's bad for the brain." I can confirm that.
Your sisters. I've heard so much about them.
What would they say now?
I think they would want you to forgive yourself.
There is forgiveness. And then there is the gravity of consequence.
You did what you had to do.
I did. There's one last sight I want you to see. In the cave, where there used to be a waterfall. Please.
Remember a lying and leading principal who tried to be a better mother than her own. She chose not to regret her damage. She chose to be in pain. For you, something merciful. All we can do is try, right?
I left so many things behind here. Maybe there's still more to leave. How about you? Anything you care to keep here?
I'd like to leave a picture.
Of what?
A place.
It will be here for you, if ever you're back to visit. Are you ready to return to the others?
I am.
Blue to ephemeral. Blue to ephemeral. Ready for retrieval.
This is ephemeral. Message received, Blue. On our way to rendezvous.
Maybe you'll write something for me one day. After all, there are more yesterdays to come.